Well. We go on with another video. I was expecting the possibility of doing a video with Aristo today, but I haven't heard from him yet, and it just turned noon here, and I'm not going to wait any longer. Maybe he and I will get one tomorrow. So I had to come up with a title, and the title is Praising an Honest Jew, Benjamin Freedman. A friend sent me a link to a speech given in 1961 by a wealthy Jew who set the record straight on the biblical and historical record. It is, as I learned long ago, the ruthless people claiming to be Jews but are not, namely the Khazarians, are the ones responsible for much of the terror in this world. These Khazars have no historical blood link to the people of Israel, the real descendants of Abraham, who have been scapegoated throughout history. The speech was made when John F. Kennedy was U.S. president. Perhaps the message by Mr. Freedman had something to do with his awakening and subsequent murder by those who have since instigated war, hot and cold, on many fronts. Makes me wonder how much of what we've been taught is total fabrication. I suspect a lot of it, if not most of it. Indeed, I went back and I watched, or I should say listened, to the video again. You don't actually see him talking, you see war scenes, which don't seem to have anything to do with his speech, except you've got to show something, I guess. And so you see soldiers running around in foxholes and stuff like that in the actual video. But I didn't watch the whole video, obviously, but I saw parts of it here and there. And it was very fascinating to hear this man who actually became a Christian or a Catholic, which, you know, he went for another scam, you know, because Roman Catholicism to me is as much a scam as Khazarian Judaism, both of which are lies. The Khazarian Jews aren't Jews, and the Catholics aren't Christians, as I see it. But again, that's the world we live in. And it's a very, very interesting speech that he gave, again, when John F. Kennedy was president in 1961. In fact, it was the first year, I think, that he actually became president. Wasn't it January 1961 that Kennedy became president? I believe it was. In any case, I wish to God that all of the disinformation would reach a point where people begin to hear the truth. Because as I've said so many times, and I'm only quoting Jesus, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. As long as we are fed a diet of continual lies, as long as we continue to lie to ourselves, about ourselves, we've been lied to who we are, and we perpetuate those lies as if we do believe them, you know, but they're not true. What we believe about ourselves is not true. The most true thing that I've ever read in regard to humanity doesn't come from the Bible. It comes from Vladimir Megra and the Anastasia series, the 9 books, especially the first 5 or 6 or 7 books of that series, which I think were the best ones. The first one and number 3, 4, and 5 were fantastic. Number 2, it's okay. Anyway, Anastasia set the record straight that humanity was infiltrated by beings that had, demonic beings that had no good intentions. They wanted to enslave humanity, and they used money as the enslavement tool. I've said that before. I believe that's the truth. Do I know it? I don't know. It resonates. That's all I can say. It resonates with me. It may not resonate with you. But it resonates with me as well what Mr. Freedman is telling us about his own ancestry. I mean, he was very, very, very much outspoken in trying to get us to understand that all of this war and terrorism and everything doesn't come from an Abrahamic religion. It does not come from that. Now, there's all sorts of things that we can look at and twists and turns insofar as trying to get a handle on what our history is, and more importantly, what our destiny is and where we are right now in moving toward that destiny. The destiny, I believe, it has to be that we wake up, that we begin to take on our heritage and move into and exercise that which we were created to be, namely children of the living God, with talents, gifts, and abilities that are far beyond what we now experience. I absolutely am convinced that we are in a time when the awakening is possible. I used to believe it was inevitable. I no longer believe that. Nothing is inevitable. Everything is still up in the air till some of the promises and some of the things that are supposed to be in the works, like the restoration of the United States, for example, and common law courts, and a monetary system that's an interim monetary system that's not based on fiat currency, but is actually based on something that is supposedly having value, namely gold, silver, and precious metals, and I guess diamonds and things like that. But in any case, that's not the world that we're familiar with. It's not the world we pick up readily or easily in mainstream media, whether it's TV or newspapers or any kind of mass media. We've been lied to over and over and over again. And most people, if you tell them the truth, they look at you like you're the one that's lying, because they believe what they've been told. They believe the program. They don't believe the reality. Some people don't even seem to be able to see the reality. I talked in the previous video about Hillary Clinton. And what does it take to get people to realize that our leaders have betrayed the United States? They have betrayed the Constitution. They have betrayed the Bill of Rights. They have betrayed the Declaration of Independence. They have betrayed the vision of our forefathers. They have betrayed everything that's good and decent and true. They have betrayed the Golden Rule, most especially. They don't even the Golden Rule is nonsense to them. It's do unto others whatever you want. Whatever you want, and put yourself above the law. And that's what the cabal has done. When are we going to wake up and see that criminals have taken charge, and a lot of it can be traced back to people claiming to be Jews, but are not? And the Bible warned us about that even before the Khazars came into existence, people claiming to be Jews but weren't. And the word Jew, Mr. Freedman points out, didn't even exist in the Bible. I mean, that's something that was created with the King James Version when you started putting the Bible into English. It didn't exist in any language prior to the King James Version era when they were translating the Bible into English. It didn't exist in the original biblical texts in any Arabic or Hebrew or whatever. Anyway, there's a whole lot to consider, a whole lot to think about, a whole lot of studying to do, a whole lot of embracing of ideas that may seem strange to us. But until we embrace the truth, we will remain in bondage. I believe that's the truth. Thank you for listening, and namaste.